Susan, I'll have you start us off just talking about kind of there's a lot going on right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. So just can you just kind of start us off by sharing kind of how that's impacting college golf recruiting in general, maybe?
Yes, and I meant to thank you, Trevor, for allowing us to do this. Hopefully it'll be very helpful to parents and players across the country. Um, Gosh, I mean, what a great question. There are so many moving parts right now. Just getting emails this morning on a couple of topics. So I think for safety reasons and just trying to keep it simple, I'm just going to hit on a couple of topics that I think currently are coming into play. We've gotten a lot of calls about the recruiting process, as you can imagine. And the message here is for players and parents to stay patient through this. I know that's easier said than done. We're trying to do the same thing. But like I said, we get a ton of information sort of daily about what's going on. So I think it's important to note that, like I said, I mean, players and parents need to be patient through this. We're still on task for the dead period to quote end the latter part of May. I think May 30th, if I'm not mistaken. And again, the way I understand it, after speaking to a few coaches, that's even going to be assessed prior to making that sort of a concrete date. I just learned that day before yesterday. So as it stands right now, yes, May 30th is the end date for the dead period. However, June 15th for the 2022 class, that will actually start the contact period. So that date, I don't think will be the least bit modified. June 15th is the go date for 2022s to start their phone calls and contacts. Interestingly, we still don't know if unofficial visits and official visits are actually going to take place. If it does, June 15th is that date to sort of start that process of contacts and all that. So as I think the best way I can describe it is, as players are staying in touch with coaches and all, they're going to continue to give you dates that are important for your class. 2021, I mean, everybody is still on go with that. A couple of questions that I've had about 2021s is, could this affect my scholarship? And the answer to that is yes. Again, those players who are in communication with coaches about their situation, they just need to simply stay on top of that. And sometimes you have to ask the hard questions. More times than not, I think what we're going to see is there won't be really modifications on their scholarships offers, but there could be. So it depends on the players who have actually agreed to come back and what their budgets will be and what they'll be able to maintain. You guys are welcome to chime in at any time. This is exactly what I've learned, and you may know something different, but I think the key here is just being comfortable asking difficult questions. I mean, that's all we can do. We're asking difficult questions also. So we'll stay on top of what's going on for 2021. And the way I'm proceeding with players that I'm assisting is we're just moving in the same mode that we have been all along. I think it's important for players to stay upfront, stay creative with what's going on for them as far as their training is concerned, and stay on top of their process. I think the key here is there are a lot of things that we don't know right now. So staying in communication with those coaches about their personal situations is going to be key. What this may also do is it simply may make some of the teams a bit larger right now. So we know that going in, when some teams have basically been around 6, 7, or 8, this could be a situation where now teams are growing to maybe 10, 11, or 12. We don't know that yet. But I think the key is just simply that communication and staying patient. So yes, I mean, daily we are seeing changes and we're getting a lot of questions, date changes and things like that. Players are a bit concerned about their competitive schedules, and all we can do is just across the board um, stay on top of doing whatever kind of training that you're able to do. And then as far as your competition, when things open up, hopefully people will be able to do just that in sort of their regional areas, their local areas, because we all know that any bit of competition is helpful at this point. So I think it's going to be very interesting because we don't even know when coaches are going to actually be able to get out and recruit. You guys would like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say beautifully said, Susan. I think the two things that stick out to me that you said were communication, asking the tough questions, and it is tough for families sometimes or kids to ask those questions. But, you know, coaches are going to be honest with you. If they can tell you the answer, they will let you know. And right now, to your point, Susan, they may not know the answer, and that might be the answer right now. So I think, you know, you have to stay patient. You have to really communicate effectively. We're going to talk about some other things later in the presentation about things you can consider moving forward. But I think those 2 points you made, patience and communication, are key.